Hi, my name is Pawel, I make games, and today we will get rid of the mess I made during this tutorial. The first problem is that the player's character can face left only. Luckily we can fix it with only one line of code and an if statement. We will check if our object we tried to move has a sprite renderer component or a child with it. For example, the player has it in its child object called player body, and you can access this sprite renderer using getComponentInChildren. And it would be cool if you had checked if our positionDifference.x is different than 0, because if it is, we are sure that we are not moving only in the y-axis. So we don't need to flip the object to face the target. Flipping the object is relatively easy. We just need to copy the first part of this statement, x as flipx, and set its value to the same as this expression. PositionDifference.x is bigger than 0. If it's indeed bigger, the flipx boolean is true, and otherwise it's false. By the way, this method works properly only with objects with one sprite renderer inside. You don't know which of the components getComponentInChildren function returns. With all of that, we can decide if we need to use a original sprite or flip it based on the direction of our movement. Oh, and there is a test message, so let's get rid of it. We just need to get rid of this line. And there is another silly thing in this coroutine. We have a delay in its arguments list, but we never use it. So let's add a yield return new wait for seconds, and we will wait at the beginning of this coroutine as many seconds as big the delay is. Now it's easier to control scene transitions, and we may go to the next problem. As it comes to the click manager, we just need to move those ugly comments. Alright, the next thing is in the item data. It would be cool if we use there a header. This bad boy makes your code way more organized, especially in Unity. But remember, if you declare many variables at once using comma and there is a header above it, you will create many headers in your Unity screen. Alright, now we have 3 headers. One is a setup, one is success, and one is failure. Cause we have a lot of variables over there, I think it looks better. Alright, now let's go to the game manager. This one is a static variable, so we can't see it in Unity, just like this one. So let's create one header there, it will be a local scenes header. And let's create one over there, it will be a setup header. Alright, let's move on to the click detection. You may not recognize this, because it's just my cheat code. I had created a clone of this game before I started recording, and I had a look on this code from time to time, but now I don't need it anymore. But I am closing it right now because some of you may have noticed it in the previous videos. I simply don't want you to be confused. Alright, the next thing is our animation data. For now we don't have many variables there, so let's leave it as it is. And the next thing is sprite animator. There are also only 3 variables, so let's just add some comments there. The last one is the name tag, and we also have nothing to do here. And now something about the scene number 2. We have 2 big men over there. Let's move this canvas to the bottom. In the Bigman UI image we use Bigman item data, and we do the same in the second UI image. Maybe you remember that this is the mess I created in the previous video. Now we need to set up the scene properly. let's go to the big man, and as we can see, he is missing a go to point, so let's create one and put it inside his item data. Now let's give him an item ID. Let's go to the scene 1, and fireplace needs item number 2, and the plant gives item number 1. So let's go to the big man and give him number 2 and make him require number 1. As you remember, we use the plant on the big man, get his booze and give it to the center, and we escape. That's why we need to assign those numbers that way. Okay, and now we should give the players some kind of a message if they don't have a plant. Now let's click on water on the table, let's add an item data there, and we will also need a go to point. Oh, and as it comes to go to point, we need to move it in the big man. Okay, now back to water on the table. Let's rename it and move it somewhere over there, and let's give it item ID 0 because it's the first one, and we don't need any other items to pick it up, so required item ID will be -1. Alright, the name of the subject will be just water, and the hint message may be left empty because we will always be able to pick it up. For now it looks good, but we mustn't leave this water on a table after we pick it up. That's why we use water and its UI image as objects to remove. And we need to do the same with the big man. Destroy his UI image, so we won't be able to click on him after we get his item. It's time to test it out. Go to the room on the right. Let's click on the man. Yeah, we get a hint, and as we click on this table, we still get a big man. Let's go to the water on the table then, and let's use water on the table item data there instead of the big man. Don't you think that should help a lot? Now in the second room we can come closer to the table and pick the bottle up. Look, the thing is that if we go to the second room, we can go back because we don't have a button for it. So let's go to the scene 1, let's copy this go to scene 2 image, and let's move it to the canvas inside the scene 2. And let's just make its position X negative. Oh, and we need to rename it, of course. And to make it faster, let's also copy go to scene 2. Here we have a useful item data. And let's rename it. Now it's go to scene 1 and it's inside the scene 2. Now we need to use this in go to scene 1 image. And we need to change go to scene 2 from -11 to -12. We should use -12 instead of -11 because we want to go to room 2. And it was working only because we made one more mistake and we forgot that, at least I forgot that arrays start from 0 not 1, and we should use 0 to go to the room 1 and 1 to go to the room 2. And we also need to grab this cloned go to point and move it to the left, and to do this let's just make its x value a negative number. Okay, it works, but I think it will be better if we move this go to point a little bit to the right. Thanks to that we don't spawn on this button. Alright, the game is back in a good shape and we may continue adding more and more features to it. As you can see, it's very important to check if your game works properly from time to time and organize your code a bit, by the way. I hope your game looks better too. Prepare yourself for the next episode in which we are going to add some animations to the game. Have a good day and see you soon!